In 1957, the police believed this case would be solved in a few days. There was a body, there were clues, there were witnesses. But a wrong decision early on changed everything. A boy was found dead inside a cardboard box. No name, no family, no justice. For decades, this case was known only as the boy in the box. Today, you will learn the story of a crime that could have been solved, but was destroyed by a fatal mistake. In February 1957, the silence of a forest in Fox Chase, Philadelphia, was broken by a discovery that would forever mark the criminal history of the United States. Inside a discarded cardboard box on the side of Susquehanna Road, originally used to transport a crib sold by J.C. Penney, was the naked body of a boy. He seemed too small for the violence he had suffered. His body was clean, his nails cut, his hair freshly trimmed, as if someone had tried to erase the signs of his identity minutes before abandoning him there. But beneath that almost careful appearance lay the brutal truth. The boy was malnourished, covered in bruises, with clear marks of repeated beatings and old scars that suggested a long history of abuse. The police concluded that he had been killed by blunt force trauma. That boy would be known for decades as the boy in the box. The body was first seen by John Stahuyak, a young man checking muskrat traps in the area. Realizing he had found something too wrong to ignore, he did just that. He ignored Italiana. Fearing trouble with the police because of the illegal traps, he decided not to report what he saw. Days later, a college student named Frank Guthrum stopped his car when he saw a rabbit running into the woods. Knowing there were traps in the area, he went to check and found the boy's body. Even so, he hesitated. He only contacted the police the next day, after hearing news about the disappearance of another child. This seemingly small delay was the first fatal mistake in an investigation marked by flaws. When the police arrived at the scene, they found more questions than answers. The boy had surgical scars on his ankle and groin, as well as an L-shaped scar under his chin. His stomach contained remnants of cooked beans, and his fingers were wrinkled, indicating that he had been submerged in water shortly before he died. Clumps of hair were stuck to his body, suggesting that the cut had been made hastily, possibly after death. Yet, despite all these clues, the case was handled in a fragmented way. Evidence was collected, but poorly documented. Witnesses came forward, but were not thoroughly questioned, and relevant suspects were never pressed as they should have been. The police believed that identification would be quick. The boy's fingerprints were taken, something rare for the time, but they led nowhere. No one came forward to claim the child. No concrete charges emerged. The case dominated the media. The Philadelphia Inquirer printed hundreds of thousands of flyers with the boy as face and distributed them throughout the region, even including them in the gas bills of homes in the city. A post-mortem photo was released, showing the boy dressed and sitting in an almost desperate attempt to restore an appearance of life to him. Even so, his name remained a mystery. The crime scene was repeatedly searched by police recruits, who found loose objects such as a blue velvet cap, a child's scarf, and a handkerchief with the letter G. None of this led to a concrete answer. Time passed, and with it, opportunities were lost. The fatal mistake in this case was not the lack of clues, but the inability to connect them effectively. Information was not cross-referenced, testimonies were not revisited, and possible culprits escaped the radar as collective memory cooled. Over the years, theories have emerged and disappeared. One of the most investigated involved a foster home located a few kilometers from where the body was found. A coroner's assistant, Remington Bristow, dedicated much of his life to this case and believed the boy had died accidentally at that location. He found a crib similar to the box where the body was left and blankets similar to the one that had wrapped the boy. Despite the disturbing coincidences, nothing was enough to support a formal charge. The investigation was eventually closed without conclusions. Another theory gained traction in 2002 when a woman identified only as Martha claimed that her mother had bought the boy from his biological parents and subjected him to years of extreme abuse. According to her account, the boy died after a violent beating and was bathed before being disposed of. Many details of her story coincided with information known only to the police. Still, her history of mental health issues raised doubts, and the police were never able to confirm her version. Once again, a possible answer was lost amid investigative failures and uncertainties. Decades passed. The boy was initially buried as an indigent, nameless, without identity, without justice. In 1998, his body was exhumed for DNA collection and reburied with a headstone that read, "Unknown Child of America." People left flowers and toys, trying to offer in death the affection he did not have in life. Even so, the case remained stalled, a painful symbol of what happens when the investigation fails. Only with advances in genetic genealogy, more than 60 years later, did the truth begin to emerge. In December 2022, Philadelphia police announced that they had identified the boy. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He had been born on January 13, 1953, and had living relatives, including siblings. His parents, however, had already died. For the first time, the boy in the box had a name, a date of birth, and a place in history. But the late identification also brought an even greater weight, because if today we know who he was, it means that someone always knew. Someone saw the signs. Someone could have spoken up, and the police, in 1957, could have done more. Better preserved evidence, suspects properly interrogated, firmer decisions. Perhaps Joseph would have received justice. Perhaps his killer would have been held accountable. But that never happened. The Boy in the Box case is not just the story of an unsolved crime. It is the story of a fatal mistake made by a system that failed a defenseless child. A mistake that allowed the truth to remain buried for more than 6 decades. And even now, with the name finally revealed, the most important question remains unanswered. Who killed Joseph Augustus Zarelli, and why couldn't anyone stop it? His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli. For more than 60 years, he was just the boy in the box. The truth wasn't hidden because there were no clues. It remained buried because wrong decisions were made. Witnesses hesitated, evidence was lost, and the investigation failed when it needed it most. This case reminds us that sometimes justice doesn't fail for lack of answers, but for lack of action at the right time. Joseph finally recovered his name, but his killer was never held accountable. And all of this because of a fatal mistake.